and you are looking to some form of higher power saying, I've done everything I can. What now? Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot. Now, this is a general-ish reading for Gemini Sun, Taurus Moon or Rising. So either for your moon or for your ascendant. Having said that, being that specific, it's still a general reading. So general reading rules apply. You know, timing is not absolute. And with these more specialized readings, timing is for whenever they are applicable. To be quite honest, the chances of me getting them done more frequently than once a quarter or once every 6 months, probably, is unlikely. Now, unlike a normal general reading, however, this reading either is for you or it isn't. There is a past and there is a present in my reading. And if the past and the present don't fit, don't try and make it fit. You know, it's not for you, it's for somebody else. Have a look at some of the other readings, have a look at some of the other tarot readers, because you'll be led to what's appropriate for you. Or hopefully, if you're listening to your intuition, you will be led to what's appropriate for you. Now, I'd like you to come to this reading with a question. So, pause the video if you have to. Just be aware of all of the questions that surround you. Pick one of them and focus upon it. Basically, energy in, energy out. However, be aware that, be aware of all of them, because the cards will answer whatever they want to and not necessarily what you and I think are the most important question. So, let me bring up the cards. Okay, so, and you should see my shuffle video appear here any second. The overall energy of the reading is the rather ominous Ten of Swords, which some people would say is an end to torment. Now, I do get a sort of ending with this. If you look at how the swords, let me lift it up to the camera. If you look at, let me lift it to that camera, it's probably... too much glare. Let's stick with the first one. If you look at how the swords are coming together, it's almost like the jaws of some form of drawbridge, not drawbridge, but the bit behind the drawbridge, the grate, it's like the teeth of a gate coming together. Quite appropriate, since the third deck that got selected for you was the Game of Thrones deck. And I don't see it as a gate that's opening. I'm seeing it as a gate that's closing. So it is putting the end to something and separating yourself from something. I don't know so much whether you are locking something down, because on the other side of those swords is the outside. The green fields beyond the window. So it's almost like you're locking something in with you. That sounds ominous. I don't feel it's anywhere near that ominous, to be quite honest. And this is echoed by the three sort of guide cards that I pick from the Druidcraft Tarot. We have Serenus, which normally represents the devil, or who normally represents the devil in this deck. The Four of Pentacles and the King of Wands. But yet again, the Four of Pentacles is, I'm not getting the traditional meaning. Yeah, there's the sense of locking something away. Sometimes with this particular card, I get more the sensation of someone trying to pick the lock. But I think he's definitely locking something away that he's worked hard to put an end to and lock away. So it's almost as if after a period of, I don't want to say laziness, after a period of contentment and inactivity, where things were pretty much going your way, the world popped its head up and went, you need to deal with this. And I believe that you are in the process or have already completed dealing with whatever this thing is. Now, by locking this thing away, whatever it is, you are putting yourself into a good position to move forward. I don't get that you are moving forward immediately. I'll be honest there. I think it's more that you're setting yourself up ready to move forward when the moment is appropriate. Now, curiously, the oracle cards that flipped over while I was pulling those is the loving man, family, friends and guides, and miracle. Something is going to occur that you can take advantage of if you are protecting those people who are close to you by locking this thing away, which is something you are already in the process of. And I feel that this locking away is, it always sounds so very negative, doesn't it? But this is a good thing. It's something that you're locking away, might be the wrong phrase, locking down, taking ownership of, making sure that yours is the only influence on this thing, whatever this thing is. So let's have a look at what the tarot cards have to say, because I feel like there's news that has just sent you into quite a rapid flurry of action, which I would assume is this flurry of action is the locking down that I was seeing, because you need to use the rules to your advantage. It's that bald guy off the Game of Thrones. I've totally forgotten his name. The eunuch advisor. I can't believe I've forgotten all the characters' names already. But it was such a big thing, wasn't it? But yeah, this you need to use the rules to your advantage to lock something into place to secure your dreams and give yourself a firm foundation. And you know very well that there's only a certain amount of action that you can take, but the time is now to take it. But then once that's done, all you can do is sit and wait. This is a judgment card, and I'm getting the three aspects of the judgment card on this. Judgment as in it's time to act, it's time for a decision to be made. Judgment as in you are waiting for a decision to be handed down to you, and you are looking to some form of higher power saying, I've done everything I can. What now? Where do we go? And you're waiting for that decision to come down. So you making the decision, taking the time to act, that was the other thing. There's a rebirth in this, because that's another thing. Judgment is very much a card about the rebirth. Remember, it's only after the judgment is the world and then the fall again. So you're heading towards everything that you've been working for coming to a conclusion, and then off with a new start and bouncing along that path with the little white dog snapping at your heels. Because in the present, you've got the Four of Swords, but it's a very contented one. It's almost as if you've made all the effort. So this news has been in there for a while. And there is an element of you going, have I done enough? Have I done enough? Have I done enough? But yes, all you can do is wait for the rules to apply. But I think you've had a very wise insight into Queen of Cups there, into how to make this come about. You have kept possession of what is important. Five of Cups. Now, although she's got her back to the 2 cups that remain, and she's looking at the 3 spilt ones on the floor, and don't ask me what character this one is, although by the colour of her hair it could be the Red Priestess, but by the shape of her hair it could be, I've forgotten her name and all. No, it's gone. But the blonde one, not Khaleesi, the other one, Khaleesi, sorry, Lannister. That's it, Lannister. It's almost like she's satisfied that those 3 cups have been spilt, which is a very Cersei Lannister sort of attitude to things. That's what that's her name, right? But you know that it is crunch time at the moment, but I almost feel this is a tower card, but I almost feel like you've taken the plunge and done what you needed to do, and now all that you can do is rest, because there is new news coming towards you. There is a new direction coming towards you, but it's all very like angel numbers, a little bit fluffy, a little bit ambiguous. It's on its way, you can feel it, and you've got a vague idea what the shape of this new direction is going to be, but more and more information is going to come to you on this, which will give you the chance to bring your forces to bear. 9 of Wands, but there's no wounded warrior here, although I mean they're all skeletons. It's a Santa Muerte tarot, this one. But it's almost like everyone's coming together to pick up one of those wands themselves and walk along with you. Here's Khaleesi with the 9 of Coins. So again, there's that. You are, even though you're surrounded by people, you're surrounded by friends, family, and guides, as this oracle card says, the direction of this is you on your own. You are taking the lead on this thing, whatever it is. It's something that you have put and will continue to put work into. But the wisdom of your recent moves will take a little while to come through to you. But you have used the rules in an appropriate fashion. I have no idea what that means. But that's what I'm getting. There's all this thing about, it's almost like you're playing a game and one of the weapons of the game is the rules of the game. A bit like how you play Yu-Gi-Oh! Certain cards have certain rules attached to them, and you've been making sure that you are using the correct rules at the correct times and not ignoring anything. So, there is a past and a present on this spread. Recent past, very close future. Potential futures. Well, future or futures. Recently, each pile has represented something different. Normally, they both represent just the one that you can grab or avoid, because what's the point of prophecy if you ain't going to use it? Here is a relevant past, which may be distant, may be close, but it's where you've learned a lesson that is guiding your behaviour at the moment, for good or for ill. Astrological forces and the sidebar out of the Celtic Cross here. So let's have a look at this distant or not relevant past. 5 of Swords, a very reasonably good-natured conflict that ended up quite a lot of conflict. We have 5 of Swords, 3 of Swords, the pain, 5 of Spears, so 5 of Wands, I think, but nevertheless, that conflict image is still there. 7 of Cups, 2 of Wands, Knight of Swords. Right, there was an initial good-natured conflict that seemed to go beyond what it needed to do and ended up causing quite a bit of pain. And although there was a lot of options that were open to you at the moment, none of them felt right. They all felt fake. And it's almost like you made plans to cut the whole lot out and just... The phrase I'm getting from this Knight of Swords is tame the beast, because it is some princess or virgin or whatever, maiden, calming a dragon. Now, dragons and maidens aren't supposed to really get along. Normally the dragon comes to eat the maiden. But it's almost like some news helped calm that beast, but what started off as something good-natured ended up causing a lot of pain. So even though it was guided, you've got a constant new source of news. There's Knight of Swords all over here. There's another Knight of Swords here. Luck went pretty much in your way, although the dreams that you were then given felt a little bit damned if you do, damned if you don't, I think is a good way to describe it. Because whatever option you took, somebody got hurt. And so I think this is why you may be a little apprehensive at the moment, because you've got to the point where the world's booted you up the backside and said, come on, deal with this. And you've gone, okay then. And you've been crossing your fingers and going like, I hope no one gets hurt this time. I hope no one gets hurt this time, which makes a lot of sense of some of these cards. Because the dream direction that you were sent on, it didn't come apparent to start off with just quite what the bonus on this would be, what the benefit of this would be. But you did manage to calm both sides of whatever this argument or conflict was. Excuse me, I just need a sip of liquid. Root beer, not beer. So you ended up recently right, okay. You ended up recently in a commitment that you weren't entirely sure about. It felt okay, but it felt very familiar. It felt like, yeah, I've been here before and I'm not sure I want to go here again. But it did seem to be the best thing for you to go along with. There was, by entering into this commitment, you put paid to certain other events in your life that were just going on and on and on, and you didn't really want to carry on with all that nonsense. And it enabled you to close the door on something. You're doing a lot of closing doors at the minute, but I seem to remember in some readings, possibly my Gemini readings, there was quite a bit about shutting things out and closing things off, if I remember them correctly. So there's that commitment. Like I said, it felt familiar and it was necessary. It was like something that you felt you had to do to get the required ends. To meet your goal, you had to make this commitment. Although it led you to be feeling a little defensive. Now, there was a devil card there. And of course, Serenus is a devil card. So I'm going to bring some clarification to those in a moment. But like I said, that what I'm getting from that devil, it was literally damned if you do, damned if you don't. So there was no ideal solution. You were just making the best of it. But this is what has set you in the position to manipulate the rules. Yeah, you were held back from acting for a while until the results of this commitment came into being and you could finally put pay to some of the older stuff. You were moving out of a situation, ready to go on to the next stage. Yeah, you were feeling quite defensive, and I think that was followed by a lot of the lonely cards, just in the present at the moment. So you made plans, and it's almost like you had to G people up to work with you. Yeah, you had to G people up. Whatever put you into this commitment, there was pain that led you there. There was some form of wound, some form of burden. But you going into this commitment, it was the right thing to be doing. And you have been guided throughout all of this, and it gave you a path to what you was working towards. But the way didn't seem clear. So we're now the astrological forces or some such, energetic trends, lessons, chapters in your novel that led you to the present. Yes, there's that action. The Ace of Spears. Nine of Pentacles, how you had everything that you needed thanks to this commitment that you entered into, but it did rather feel like you were working all on your own on this, but you were more than capable of working all on your own with this, and it was time. So now we've already discussed the present. So there's your past and the present. So if none of that made sense to you, now's the time to click onto another video. Let's go now into the period that you're moving into. Bear in mind, as I do this, the full moon has just passed. We're heading towards the new moon in Capricorn, the solar eclipse, the Saturn-Pluto conjunction. But it looks like you've done a lot of your decision work already, but there's part of you going, I don't see a clear way yet. I feel like I'm coping and I'm managing. I'm not leading, but you are leading. And the goal is, what I'm getting the impression is the goal is going to come forward. Yes, because there are some secrets coming out. So whatever you have locked away, or locked down, I think. I want to say locked down more than I say locked away, because you're holding it to yourself with that Four of Pentacles energy. But that's a good thing. Even though you've been feeling defensive, quite possibly you've had cause. And there is a balancing act coming on before you can progress on to the next stage, where you've got to be careful that you don't act too rashly at the moment. Yes, you've got to act, but you've got everything locked down at the moment, and it is your job to keep it locked down, because justice is going to be seen to be done. It will be a balancing of forces, and I feel that you will be quite victorious. You just have to spend time realizing, because TV tarot, and it's the crew out of Lost. And one thing that the crew out of Lost don't know is where they are or what they're doing there. I didn't watch the entire series, and even I know that. Be careful about the victories that you brag about or hammer home. They should be, again, Four of Pentacles. They should be quiet victories. There's like, right, that's done, and all you need to do is tick them off a list. Don't ram them home, because you are slowly tending a garden for growth. Because, right, things will speed up soon enough, and this new direction, the reason of why you've done all of this will come apparent. You have done it to keep promises. You know why you've done it, as in a motivating action, but you don't know where it's leading. And where it's leading is a good place for you, from what I can see here. But you haven't seen what that is yet. So there's the why of why you did it in the day-to-day. I've done it to look after my wife and children, my family heirloom, my job, my relationship, my childhood friend, all those sort of things. But you haven't got the why of, I've done it because once I've done it, I end up over there, and over there's good. And you haven't got that, but that is coming. There's more luck. 2 Wheel of Fortunes here. Okay, so if there's a lot of action, a lot of cards are getting repeated, 4 of Pentacles, Wheel of Fortune, and Knight of Swords. Just keep coming again in pile after pile after pile. Bear in mind, I use 6 decks here, not including the 2 decks there. So, Queen of Cups again. Right. All of this is coming to a conclusion pretty much soon. All right. And I'd imagine by the way that you're spinning plates and going, yeah, where am I going to end up after all this? I'm doing, you feel, that's the phrase, you feel like that you're reacting rather than being proactive. That's fine. That's fine at the moment. Because there's been a lot of loose ends to tie up and a lot of things to nail down. And, there's, but a revelation is coming. I mean, we've got Judgment Day with Walking Dead. So there's that rebirth thing again. And the Hermit. So there's that illumination. And once you have that illumination, we have the Empress and the Queen of Cups. So you're coming into a very, very fertile, mysterious, emotional, but fertile time. It's something where you're going into a position where you ask for things within your life and they are going to materialize. Maybe not in the way that you thought they were, but they are going to materialize. Just bear in mind that you don't worry about what you've lost. Okay, because anything that you have lost in this process, you have chosen that, or at least it has been a result of the choices that you have made, and you knew that going in. So don't waste time crying over spilt milk, because you are Six of Swords again. Okay, there's a card that keeps coming out. A lot of sixes here, a lot of sixes. And one of your oracle cards was a 6 as well, I think. Yeah, that family, friends, and guides. And there was those 6 of coins. 6 of swords, 6 of wands. There's victory and motion coming. Now, I'm not saying there's victory in motion. I'm saying there's victory and motion. And although you will be required to still be balancing things like you have been doing recently, it's putting a pay to you collect those secrets that you need to keep for yourself. They are kept for yourself. Those things that need to come out into the open is coming out into the open. And you are the way that you have handled this is not only seen as someone reacting, it's seen as somebody dancing at, and I am convinced, unless it's Glee and I'm in the wrong generation, I'm convinced that's Leroy off of Fame, who was rebellious but a phenomenal dancer. 10 of Swords again, but this time symbolized with a butterfly, transformation coming, beauty coming. So there is whatever that initial 10 of Swords, I really need a bigger table. Whatever that initial 10 of Swords was representing, you have got it locked down. So you're in the process of that right now. You are doing all right, okay? I know it doesn't feel like it, and there's almost like you're going, oh God, what next? But you're doing okay. Other people are seeing that wish fulfillment is coming your way and happiness is coming your way, and they are standing with you. And they are also aware of how much study you have been doing to looking into your own inner light. There's a lot of work for you to do, and other people may be looking, well, what if this? What if that? But to be quite honest, I don't think you need worry about other people's opinions because you've already chosen the people who will come with you and who won't. So, I mean, what you fear is that maybe whatever these secrets are, or these facts or documents, or this thing that you've been trying to protect and lock down, that it will get too heavy and it will have too much spotlight shown upon it. But I don't think you need to worry about that. There's wish fulfillment in this for you, and when it happens, it will happen fast. There's also a worry about betrayal, but the people that you expect to be standing with you, no, that's the wrong way to put it. There are people that ought to or should be standing with you. You're not convinced that they're going to, and I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised to find out that they actually will do. So let's have a look at one potential future. Right, if you end up being too defensive, this burden will carry on, and you'll still need a lot of strength to deal with it, and the balancing act will carry on. Okay, so there's a defensiveness, there's an expectancy of an attack once all this is completed. And I think that is probably something that you can put to one side, because news will come to you that will kill that idea. Once this is resolved, it is resolved. End of story. Your other option is accept that once it is resolved, it's resolved, and you move on to happiness. King of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles. So material happiness, security, that you are grounded. 10 of Cups, better than wish fulfillment. A lot better. You know, you thought you wanted this, but here's what you really want. And yes, it's going to make you look at the world in a completely different way, but in a way that's going to breed opportunity for you, and bring a lot of change. So once this is put to rest, that's the point where you stop being defensive. And to be honest, you can stop being defensive now, because you have done the defending. All you need to do now is, like if you've put it in a chest, make sure that the lock is oiled and the hinges are oiled so that you can get to it when you want to, and it's locked away when you need it to be. Let's have a look at the Oracle cards. Right, you were wondering why you were doing this in the first place and about your reaction. You were doing it because love. That's why, love. You were doing it to protect the people that you love. But there is now time needed to release stuff. Do you know what I mean? You can put this burden down once it's locked away. You are, by doing this, you are mending bridges, and you are revealing whichever secrets that you need to reveal and keeping whatever secrets you need to keep. But that is part of your role as guardian, and it is part of you exhibiting self-love for yourself. Now, things may look a little unclear at the moment, almost like you're wondering why you've done this, as in it's feeling empty at the moment, but that is wiping the slate clean for you to link in with people that are around you, to get those. Remember, I was saying that people are coming together with you, and there's more information coming to you. You have had a warning of the storm coming, and but there's information that you have gained through all of this. And when I say you had the warning of the storm coming, the storm's pretty much here, maybe already past. You're in the eye of the hurricane, and you have done all that protection work. You have done what you need to. You will be fine. The storm can just pass by. She-wolf, unleash the wild within. Right, this is going to ebb and flow, okay, or pulsate like the moon goes from waxes and wanes. Okay, so you've had a bright moon recently, which has caused all this activity. Then there's going to be a lull. Then it will burst out again. Then things will start moving quickly for you. But you've had a double mission on this, and that was self-love and loving those around you and protecting those around you. You've had the strength. Communication is coming, a lot more communication, and more importantly, new beginnings, and expect miracles. Oh, wrong way. Which emphasizes that initial miracle card. Okay, so you've done the work, you will get your miracle. Okay? The only thing you need to do is once you know that the storm has passed, just relax, let go. You don't have to stay defensive once the need to be defensive has gone. Okay, so if this means anything to you, Gemini, please do comment down below. Please press subscribe while you're there because I'm new and it would be nice to get my videos seen by more people. Definitely comment if this means anything to you. Have a look at your waxing, waning, full moon and new moon readings when they come out. So click the notification bell if you want to know about that. But otherwise, you're doing really well. There is a point, it will come apparent, and then there's fast change coming. But just, you've done really well. Relax a little bit. Pace will pick up soon enough. And understanding will come with it. All right? Cheers.